engaging celebrity interviews, exciting updates from Christian filmmakers, movie reviews so you can choose your movies wisely, and so much more here on Faith on Film with Isaac Hernandez and Holly McClure.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Faith on Film. We're so excited you're joining us today. Holly, I understand you have an interview coming up here with a young man that really has had a lot of success in Hollywood. Can you tell us who it is we've got on the show today?
Yeah, we've got the star David Henrie. Now, a lot of you may have seen him in How I Met Your Mother and Wizards of Waverly Place. Your kids probably have been. Maybe when you were younger, you did. He's been really in movies since he was a child. He also played the young Reagan, which I had a chance to see him on the set in the summer of, I think it was 2021, when I went and interviewed about the movie and about what he was doing. And I got a chance to interview him then. And now he is done also he directed Monster Summer. We love that movie, Isaac. We talked about that last year, 2024. It was Monster Summer with Mel Gibson, and he became friends with him. The guy's got a strong faith. We're going to talk to him about his faith. He has done a series called Seeking Beauty. And it's about not only his Catholicism, but finding God in beauty in the cities and structures where the Catholic faith is strong. So I'm excited to interview David Henrie today.
Well, that's awesome. I can't wait to see that interview. But first, let's take a look at the trailer. And then from the trailer, we'll come on to you and David for the interview. And then after your interview, I'll come back on and we can talk about what it is that you guys talked about. All right?
All right.
What if beauty was something more than we see? What if it was something we seek?
I can see how you can find God here.
I'm David Henrie, and I've always believed there's more to beauty than what meets the eye.
This is just, it is breathtaking.
So I set out to search for something more. We're traveling across Italy through Rome, Florence, Venice, Milan, and more.
I like Milanese people. I think I'm going to get used to it here. I'm normal.
Exploring the people, the culture, and the sacred art to uncover the beauty that's been speaking to hearts for centuries.
Michelangelo has found the Lord at the end of his life.
It makes me emotional.
Along the way, I've met monks, musicians, artists.
I get fired up about this stuff, man. What role do you think the artist has to play today?
Even a few fellow pilgrims.
Viva España!
And each one has helped me uncover deeper meaning.
Trying to understand the mind of Caravaggio. This is such a full circle moment for me.
Because beauty isn't just decoration. It's the language of the soul. Come, join me to see how timeless beauty still speaks to us today and how it just might change the way we see everything.
And I'm delighted to have David Henrie on Faith on Film. David, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me. This will be a blast.
Okay, first of all, I want you to know, I met you years ago. You were with your father. You were at a restaurant, and Joe Goodman was a friend of mine. And he said, "Hey, Ollie, I want you to meet some people." And I sat down, and we all sat there and had dinner together, and we talked. And then I met you years later on the set of Reagan in Oklahoma, and I was doing behind the scenes, and I interviewed you for that. So, and otherwise following you on other things too. So listen, I've watched you since you were young and have met you before, but welcome. It's a good chance to talk to you now. And I just have to say, first of all, I love Monster Summer. Okay, love that very much. Love that movie. We reviewed it on the show here. We were talking all about it. It was a great film with Mel Gibson, and of course, many other things that you've done. The latest thing that you've done, and the exciting thing that you've done, is Seeking Beauty. Tell us all about Seeking Beauty.
Wow. Well, what an introduction. Thank you so much for having me on. It's good to be with you again, and I'm sure many more times in the future.
Yes.
Yeah. So this show is one that's near and dear to me. It's the first thing I've done that has like explicit mentions of faith. And that was a big step for me, but an important one, because I think, especially in America, we're starving for beauty. Beauty, growing up as an American, is a cost that can be cut. It's something that's left over to the end. If you got anything left over in the budget, maybe doll it up a little bit. But the importance of beauty is not one that's on the forefront of our mind. And going back and visiting a culture where the opposite was true, where beauty is seen as a reflection of the divine. Beauty is the fingerprint of God, and seeing the sustenance that their culture still has to this day was incredibly moving. So I got to go explore the beautiful cultures of the old world, particularly Italy, which is where the first season starts, and the second season is Spain. And I got to go ask questions, because as an American, there's a lot that I don't understand. Like, something that's foreign to me is, why build something that you'll be dead when it's done? That doesn't make any sense. And my kids will be dead when it's done, and my kids' kids will be dead when it's done. These things don't make any sense. Or why put statues on top of cathedrals that no one will see because it's so high up there? And I would learn that some things were just for God. So there were so many illuminations that I had throughout this journey, learning about the old mind and their understanding of beauty, that completely flipped mine on its head and gave beauty a place of prominence in my life that is a new perspective for me, and one that's incredibly healthy and peaceful.
Well, I love knowing that. Was it your concept and you had other people help you produce it and get it going? Or did they ask you to do it and then it was kind of new to you and you're like, okay, interesting. I mean, because did you do a lot of research before signing on with it?
This was one that they brought to me, and the reason that I signed on for it was because they're flipping what you expect on its head. So what you expect is like an expert to walk you through all of these locations and teach you about the locations. And they came to me and they said, we want to do the opposite. We want a host who is the lens of the viewer. So kind of an everyday guy, which is very much me. And we want the audience to look through your eyes and experience these things with you. And we'll sit you down with experts, but we want someone enthusiastic and excited and curious about all of these things you'll be put in front of. So for me, I love that format because to me, that's much more engaging. That's fun. It's similar to my wife and I love watching the Stanley Tucci travel show.
Yes.
Where he goes about exploring foods in Italy. And to me, it's very much that. It's someone who has a passion for beauty, me, and just learning, asking questions. So when they brought me the format, I was like, okay, that's cool. So it was almost like the less I was prepared, the better, because it was real and natural. I definitely am a fan of beauty, and I love history, and I love the faith. So I definitely have a working knowledge of what goes on in Italy, and I'm Italian as well. But
that helps. I had a chance to work on the Passion of the Christ for a couple of months, and so I was in Italy for that. I've gone back to Florence and some other places, so I've had a taste of what you had a taste for, but you really got to go and explore the beauty of God in these places and talk to these people. So this is such a phenomenal series. Where can people see it right now, and so that they can have a taste of this too, because it's amazing.
So it comes out on the 19th of this month. So in a handful, what are we at? A handful of days here. It comes out on the 19th. It'll be on EWTN Plus. So it's all for free. Basically, any device you have, you can just Google it and find a way to watch it for free. But if you want to download the app, it's EWTN Plus. You can download it and watch it there. There's also the website. If you just type in Seeking Beauty EWTN, the website will pop up. You can watch it for free there. If you have a big screen in your home, you can watch it there on Vudu. Pretty much any device you have, you can find a way to watch it.
Okay, now I have to ask you. You went to Venice and Florence and Rome and the Vatican and probably several other places. Out of all of that, were there any highlights for you that changed or affected your faith? Because you said you had faith in this. Did anything strengthen it or surprise you about your faith?
Oh, it's so many things. So many things surprised me. So many things touched me very deeply. A couple things in particular. I mentioned this briefly earlier, but when I got to go to the tops of the cathedrals, which are now readily accessible, and back in the day it was definitely harder to get up there. It wasn't a common thing for the common person to be like, I'm going to go to the top of this cathedral and walk around on the roof. But I remember going to the top of the cathedrals for the first time, and there'd be these statues up there, these gorgeous statues with intricate detail. I mean, I could see the veins and arms. And I remember turning to our experts and going, why? Why do they put this here? Like, no one has been able to see this for centuries up until modern times. Like, why would the artist put this here? And she smiled at me and she said, because they knew that some things were just for God. That was the faith of the people at the time. They believed that much, where they put a statue on the roof just because God could see it from the sky.
Wow.
that was a beautiful moment for me. You know, so, I'm too selfish for that, right? Like, I wouldn't spend months and months and months working on something and then stick it in a closet, let no one see it, and be like, it's just for God. Where's my faith? So that was a beautiful little lesson. And the second thing that really moved me as an artist was when I got to visit Michelangelo's third Pietà. I didn't even know there was a second one. So I got to visit his third Pietà, which is the Pietà he was working on as he died. This was above his headstone. He was working on his literal headstone for after he died. And it's not finished. You know, you're used to seeing Michelangelo at his greatest. You're used to seeing the Pietà, Sistine Chapel, other works from him. And it's not done. It's like half done. So the polish isn't there. The finish isn't there. It was too weak. And the Monsignor who was giving me the tour read me the sonnet that Michelangelo wrote while he was chiseling away at this. And the sonnet says something to the effect of an artist. Basically, it's like an artist realizing he's made a god of his work. And he's realizing in this too late in life. He's barely able to pick up the chisel anymore. And he's realizing this too late in life. And so it's like an old man's last yelp of going, I finally figured it out. And I've made a god of this material. And that was all completely wrong. So it's just this very moving moment. I mean, I remember when we were filming it, I turned to the cameraman and he's like bawling on the camera.
Wow.
It's a very touching thing. I think every artist has to realize one day they'll set the chisel down, and to hear it from Michelangelo and look at the work. What's cool too is he has his self-portrait in the art, in the statue. It's Joseph of Arimathea setting Christ down, and our Blessed Mother's there at the bottom.
Wow.
And he put his self-portrait on Joseph of Arimathea. And you just see this old man with these big burly hands, but who clearly is too weak to chisel anymore. Yeah. Yes.
Well, speaking of faith, I love the movie Little Boy. Okay, one of my favorites. And really one that a lot of people don't know about. Is such a good movie, and I think it's a classic. You had an experience starring in that movie, but led you to your faith. Share that with our audience.
Yeah. I'm 36 now. I was about 22 when we did that movie. And before that, I came off a very successful child acting career at Disney, millions of followers. And so on paper, I had what you should want in life, but I had this growing kind of existential void and this crisis growing within me of meaning, of purpose. And nothing was doing it for me. You know, I was living for what I now call the bubblegum theory of pleasure, which is like, I was just living for the next piece of bubblegum, the next pleasure. And whether it was the watch or the house or the car or the award or the cool friends or traveling, I was just living for stuff, living for respect, living for things of the world. And I saw the end of that, and that was increasingly depressing and fleeting because I got the things and they weren't making me happy. And I'm searching, and I get this movie, Little Boy. And on set, I meet these wonderful men, these wonderful, wonderful men, these authentically Christian men who are able to witness to me and able to discuss and debate with me the questions that I had and the things that I really cared about. And it radically changed my life. It set me on a completely different path. I was steeped in relativism. I was craving objectivity. And these guys were able to point me to Aristotle, point me to Thomas Aquinas, have great discussion and debate around purpose and meaning and objectivity versus subjectivity. It really, it changed my life. That experience changed my life, and friends of mine still to this day. And ultimately led me to Christ, led me to the source of objectivity, led me to our Lord. So it was, much longer story, a lot more dramatic than I'm making it here, but those are the cliff notes.
But thank you for sharing that, because it's nice. I've interviewed over 25 years and so many celebrities and people who, like you know, been in the business and grown up in it, especially as a young person, you know, being in it, you get a little bit more jolted because you're pulled into that world earlier. And it is hard. And it's everyone thinks it's so glamorous and easy, but there's those moments when you're alone that you're realizing what is all of this mean. So thank you for sharing that, because I think, were you raised in the church at all with any faith, or did I was
I always call myself a convert, but that's technically not true, because I did, we'd go to Christmas and Easter church.
Yeah.
Um,
As a lot of people
They
do.
always baptized the baby, so
Right.
I'm Italian, so it's a very cultural thing. But so I guess technically I had some exposure to faith as a young person, but
Right.
left very early.
Well, then you went on to do other films and other projects, and Seeking Beauty is definitely one of them. I'm sure you appreciate it even more, the God in everything, now that you had that strong faith and you see it differently, which is beautiful that you can do that and share that with so many. I'm curious, when you were in Rome, did you have a chance, and you worked on Monster Summer, you directed, I should say, by the way, Monster Summer with Mel Gibson. Did you have the chance to talk to him about his faith? Because when I worked with him on The Passion of the Christ, of course, we talked about his faith, and I saw him, go to mass every day. It was interesting.
Oh yeah, we talked about it all the time. That's like all we talk about. And I was just with him on the set of Resurrection, watching him work, and he's turned into like a mentor figure in my life. I spent a lot of time with him when I was directing him in Monster Summer, and we've since built a great relationship. And yeah, we talk about it a lot. I mean, that's all we talk about. We love talking about it. We're both Catholic, and there's lots to talk about. Lots to talk about.
Well, and the art, the Caravaggio that he looked at and studied. I mean, he wanted the art to reflect in the Passion of the Christ, and it did, in so many ways. And I know that, you can't talk about what he's working on, the Resurrection, and we won't, but I'm sure he is steeped in it right now, doing this next movie is, of course.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, I can't say too much, but you won't have seen anything like it.
Wow.
Just his Passion was the first, really, to like do it in that way.
Yes.
The Resurrection will be that as well.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that, and so good to know that in your perspective. With doing this series of Seeking Beauty, you said the next one was going to be in Spain. So is it going to continue that you go to different countries to do this same thing, see where the beauty, the faith of God lies? And do you see a younger generation who follow you because of Wizards at Waverly Place and other things? Do you see them kind of getting educated and coming into it?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. That is the plan. We already shot the second season in Spain, so we finished that at the end of last year. And the hope is to get look, we want all people to watch this and enjoy it. And the hope is people will go to these locations and they'll save up and, maybe stop drinking Starbucks a couple times a week, so that way they can save up and go to Europe one day and visit the old or visit our history, our collective inheritance as Christians. I mean, these places started it for all of us, whether you're Protestant, Catholic, whatever. Before the year 1500, it was just all one thing. And this is that thing. And this is our shared inheritance.
Yeah.
So I hope everyone will go there. That's my hope. And, I have a big millennial and Gen Z audience. So I'm really hoping that I know that demographic is starting to plan their first trips. They're starting to get married. They're thinking of traveling. And so I hope this show can be something that they can watch and get excited to plan their trips out, and hopefully be touched as well, because we definitely go deeper than a typical travel show.
Well, David, what's next? What's, beyond this Seeking Beauty? Are you involved in more films or anything that we can look for you in the future?
Yes, we got a lot cooking. So my company, Novo Inspire, Novo means new in Latin. We're making old stories new. We're working on a bunch of stuff. We have a couple shows coming out that I want you to stay tuned on. A couple movies as well that we're involved in that I want you to stay tuned on. We're going to announce things in the next 6 weeks. But all content that entertains and elevates broad audiences and gives you a safe place to go be entertained, where you're not hit over the head with something that might make you feel uncomfortable.
Well, you would have to come back and tell us about it, okay? I wanted you to come back and keep us informed and up to date on it. David Henrie, thank you so much for sharing so much about your faith and so much about seeking beauty. I hope people will tune in to watch this. I know that they will. It's wonderful that it's going to be on EWTN, but on other outlets as well. We'll be sure and put that on the end of the interview here so people can see where to go. But again, what can we pray for you for? You and your wife and your 3 children. Do you have any prayer needs in your life right now that we can pray for you for?
That's very kind of you. Yes, of course. My wife has some real bad fertility issues that have caused us a lot of pain. So if you could pray for us, but particularly for my wife, that would be really appreciated.
For Maria, correct?
Maria. Yeah, Maria.
Yes. All right. We will pray for that and for you, and pray that God just, whatever that need is, that he meets it and finds it. And you're on your journey, and I'm sure he will. Well, God bless you. God bless you, David Henrie. Thank you so much for being with us today.
You as well. Thank you very much.
What makes Capernaum Studios different from other movie studios? We believe in empowering filmmakers to make stories that matter, inspire, uplift, and transform lives. From historically authentic sets to state-of-the-art, fully equipped sound stages, we offer immersive LED and green screen stages, ICVFX virtual production, period to modern sets, a first-century village featured in The Chosen, and much more. We provide everything filmmakers need to focus on what matters in making their vision a reality, producing meaningful content affordably without compromising creativity. Discovering what's possible when creativity meets purpose. Capernaum Studios, empowering filmmakers to make dreams a reality.
If you're looking for a movie with nostalgic charm and a great message, you got to see Jesus Freaks. It is based on a true story about love, faith, and the power of the Holy Spirit that rocked the world 50 years ago during the Jesus Revolution. Written and directed by Nina May, it features Sam and Kevin Sorbo. It is available at JesusFreaksMovie.com and Amazon Prime. I'm telling you, you're gonna love this movie. Get it today at JesusFreaksMovie.com or Amazon. Well, Holly, another great interview.
Thank you. Thank you. Wasn't he wonderful? You know, first of all, like I said, I met him years ago with his father when he was younger, followed his career, had a chance to interview him as a young Reagan, and then seeing this now. And what I love that he shared, first of all, I love Little Boy. That was one of my favorite films. That stands out. A lot of people don't know about that movie. If you don't, look up Little Boy. It is a phenomenal story of faith and courage and family. And I love that he shared how Kevin James was the person who really opened up to him about his faith. I don't think he mentioned, but I happen to know it was Kevin James, who I love, also another great actor, who shared about his faith. And the fact that he shared how he had been raised in Hollywood and kind of came out of that. And what's left? You've got cars, you've got money, you've got everything. Boy, is that a common theme. And I love how he shared about that. And then also, you know, how he talked about his wife and his family. And when I asked him for prayer, he was like touched and he wanted prayer. So, folks, this is a man of faith, not a boy. This is a man of faith. And one of those actors that's worth praying for and following, isn't he, Isaac?
Yeah, you know what? He obviously, I think of him as a kid, only because he's actually younger than my youngest son. So to me, yeah, that's a kid. But you're right. He's a man that has had great success. But one of the things that I really appreciated about what you guys talked about is how open he was about his faith. You know, people in Hollywood have for many years just wanted to keep, even if they are Christians, they wanted to keep that kind of very personal. They don't like to talk about it. They're very uncomfortable. He was very open to just from the get-go, from the very beginning of the interview, just boom, put it out there. And I really appreciated that.
I did too. And the fact that, you know, his Catholic faith has become important to him. You know, I think Mel Gibson kind of opened that door with The Passion of the Christ. And we've seen actors like Chris Pratt, who feels free to speak out, has been ridiculed for it, but has spoken out, and other actors. And I think we're seeing it more and more. And I really value that as far as, you know, having those people in Hollywood that we can look to. And that's when you watch this series, like he said, now they went into Spain and they're going to do Spain and cover some things. And it's, you know, it's not only beautiful to watch. I mean, I watch these in these amazing cities. If you've never been to Italy, watch this special because he sees the beautiful things you want to see when you go to these cities. And that's really interesting. But also the fact that he brings God into it. And I love when he told that story, didn't you, about how the top of this beautiful, building, this structure, and he went up there and there's statues up there. And he said, why would they have built these statues? And they said the people did it for God. Yeah. They didn't care if anybody knew about it. They did it for God. I love that.
Yeah, it of course, it appears the series is a travel log. I guess I could call it a travel log.
Right.
He's going to various cities. But this is very different than your typical travel logs, because most travel logs are all about the wonderful places you can visit and have fun with and all that. But this had just a very strong spiritual element to it. Everything that he talked about that he visited in the program has to do with God.
Right. And, folks, for those of you who, you heard me ask if he needs prayer, you could tell he was really touched by that, I think. And it's not like we tried to do that to touch him. I wanted to know, I really prayed for him. In fact, I want to continue to do that, and let's pray for him and keep his wife. That was touching that he revealed that his wife, Maria, has had infertility problems, and they do have 3 children, but that she's struggling with this. So, and miscarriages, and things like that. So we have the privilege of having a show, Faith on Film, and we have the privilege of being able to talk about our faith. And I think that's where it kind of shines. We're so different. We stand out. Isaac, I'm proud of us, is that we can bring the faith into it and talk about that. And that's why, for viewers that are watching this right now, I don't care if you're watching it 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, keep David Henrie in your prayers and lift him up.
Absolutely.
And, God honors that.
One other thing I noticed is that even though he's had such success in a lot of movies in the past, and of course he's very proud of those, but to me, he appeared to be proudest of this particular product.
Yes. Yeah. I think this is really
just bubbled up with it.
He really did. And it was really a chance for him to do something different. And, I think we both have older children. I always say children in their 30s and 40s and older, but I think that, it's, you come to a point like when you're approaching 40 or in your 40s that you're like, okay, what are you really valuing in life? And what are the important things to you in life? And obviously family and faith is to him. And to Christians, it obviously is, God, family, and faith. But I appreciate that he's speaking out about it. And, he's confident that he's still going to get roles and can still produce and direct in Hollywood. Clearly, this is not affecting his concern about being blacklisted, because I just think there's a shift. There's been a change. Look at House of David. Look at The Chosen. Look at what they're doing. I mean, they're changing the tide, the shift of how Hollywood perceives Christian entertainment materials. So, we're seeing strides in the industry, folks. Strides in the industry.
Well, Holly, another great show, another great interview, but that pretty much takes us to the end of today.
Well, it's been a great show, and we look forward to next week. God bless everyone. Thank you.
That's right. Bye-bye now.
Write to us at faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. That's faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. And follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and X at faithonfilmtv. Also, visit our website, faithonfilmtv.com. That's faithonfilmtv.com, where you'll find links to all of our past shows and much more.